Hi, I'm Captain Kai and welcome to the final day update from the Jbay Open in Jeffreys Bay. The final day broke cold, grey, huge swell as predicted, and the first few heats struggled with the wild conditions. Up first, of course, was round 5, and in heat 1, Adriano de Souza, the Brazilian, narrowly defeating Josh Kerr from Australia. In heat 2 of round 5, we had Kohala Andino up against Taj Burrows. Taj, using his experience at Super Tubes, of course he's won before, to take the win and move into the quarterfinals. Up first was the first of the goofy foot clashes. Gabriel Medina, the current world number 1, up against CJ Hopgood. CJ Hopgood has been on a tear at this event, but it was the young Brazilian who got the better of their exchanges, really going to town on some big set waves out at Super Tubes and moving through to the quarters. In the last heat of round 5, we had current world champion Mick Fanning up against the Hawaiian FREDDY PATACCHIA. FREDDY tried everything in his box of tricks, but ultimately it was Mick Fanning with some precision surfing on the long walls of supers moving into the quarters. So as the quarterfinals started at Jbay, the sun peeked out from behind the clouds, the crowd started filling up on the beach, and Joel Parkinson was in quarterfinal number 1 against Adriano de Souza. The previous world champion Parker showed his class at Super Tubes, totally dominating the first quarterfinal, and unfortunately for Adriano, it was home time for him. In the second quarterfinal, we had Matt Wilko, the giant killer, taking on Taj Burrows, a very experienced competitor out at Super Tubes. But Matt Wilko put on a display of backhand surfing rarely seen at Super Tubes. Some of the biggest turns we've seen in the entire contest, and he was through to the semi-finals. Next up was another clash of the goofy footers in quarterfinal number 3. It was Owen Wright up against current world number 1 Gabriel Medina. Medina tried absolutely everything he could to win the heat, but at the end of the day it was the big power surfing of the big Australian that would take him through to a semi-final. Quarterfinal number 4 saw the very underrated Aleo Muniz up against Mr. Mick Fanning. Mick was starting to really find his rhythm, and he was looking absolutely deadly on the long tapered walls of 6 to 8 foot Super Tubes. Just before the semi-finals, the crowd on the beach were treated to a heat of legends. Ex-winners here at Super Tubes, Tom Curren and Mark Okulupa, up against each other in perfect Super Tubes. Oki, the raging bull, tried everything in his power to relive his glory days, but it was the Californian Tom Curren getting a 10-point ride for the deepest tube of the day, and actually teaching a couple of the current pros a big lesson on how to surf Super Tubes. The sun was golden, the waves were perfect, and Joel Parkinson came up against Matt Wilko in one of the best heats ever seen on the ASP Tour. Joel Parkinson surfing super good. He got a 10-point ride for an amazing wave with one of the best tubes of the day. Wilko in combo land had to try everything. He got an incredible wave. He did some of the biggest turns seen at Super Tubes by a goofy foot surfer. He got a 9-point ride, but it was just too little too late, and Parker was through to the finals. Semi-final number 2, Mick Fanning against Owen Wright, another battle of the goofies versus the naturals. Mick Fanning though was starting to find his rhythm. The guy is so precise out at Super Tubes, doing the biggest, fastest rail surfing anyone's ever seen. Owen gave it everything he could. Unfortunately, he just did not get as good a rides as Mick, and it was the two best friends, Mick Fanning and Joel Parker, coming up at the Jbay Open finals. I don't think we've ever seen so many people on the beach for Jbay Open before, and what a final they were presented with. Mick Fanning putting on a display of rail surfing out at Super Tubes. Joel Parkinson seemed to peak in his semi-final against Matt Wilko. He still gave it everything he had, eventually getting stuck down the point in the dying minutes, unable to get back out, and Mick Fanning having, in the end, quite an easy victory to take home his second Jbay Open title, a big jump in the rankings, and of course the respect of all the South Africans on the beach. This year was an incredible event, so good to have the world's best surfers back at Jbay. From myself, Captain Kai, if you want to check out any action sports news in South Africa, just find Captain Kai's World online. It's been great taking you through the Mr. Price Pro and Jbay Open, and I look forward to seeing you next time.